Hello everybody, I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I would like to share my final thoughts on the Spyderco Native 5 fluted titanium. This thing is just, it's a beautiful knife, and to a lot of people, this could be their grail knife or the king of their Spyderco collectible knife. I was going to do a separate video comparing it to what made me purchase this and take such a large financial leap, because as I've stated before, I'm not rich, I don't get anything for free. I work hard for, what I have. But when I purchased this guy, I was just like, it's a lockback, it's super lightweight, the action, it's kind of shitty on it. But after using this thing for such a long time, I was just like, this is literally one of the ultimate knives in my collection, because it weighs close to nothing, right? It's a lightweight, and if you keep this thing clean enough, after a while, it really becomes super smooth. There is no bearings, there are no washers in here. It's just straight, tang of the blade, with the screws through it, and just sitting sandwiched between the, I believe, FRN scales, fiberglass reinforced nylon. So it's basically impact resistant plastic, right? And it has the Spyderco's quite iconic bi-directional texturing. All that just means is that in one way it's grippy, the other way it's also grippy. And it's just a look, right? Some people don't like it. Some people think it's cheapy. Some people don't care if it's made in the US or not. But through use and experience with this knife, this specific one in CPM S90V, I have loved this knife so much. I took it to the beach. It got covered in sand. I took it on a jet, when I was on riding a jet ski. It just got soaked, just drenched in water. And I was on like a couple-day trip. Didn't take it apart, didn't clean it, didn't experience any kind of rust or fatigue of the action. And it's a great knife, it really is. So when I learned that there was something like this that existed, I was just like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to afford that. It's just crazy. When these things came out, with a little bit of research that I did, they were around $250. That is extremely affordable for what would be today's market. But of course, you guys know, with inflation and all that, the fact that this is no longer manufactured, this is a collectible, this is all but enthusiasts right here. Because this knife, I picked up from an individual on eBay, and the listing was for essentially $500. So double the price of what it's actually worth. Do I think that this is a $500 knife, that you are genuinely getting $500 worth of knife here? Absolutely not. Nope. If anything, I would say go ahead and spend the $150 to $170 that one of these is going to run you, because this thing is amazing. Like I said, it weighs like nothing, and the blade is just fantastic. Here's some standard size cardboard that you would get from a freaking Amazon box, and it's just absolutely amazing. It really is. And the fluted titanium, while it is in a different blade material, S35VN, performs exactly the same. I feel, sorry, there's a little hang up there for some reason. I feel no difference, absolutely no difference in the cutting edge quality, or the thickness of the blade, the fit and finish of the blade. And it's just great. These things are actually interchangeable, which I didn't know that. So in the future, I'm actually planning to purchase other Native 5s just so I can continue, keeping this fluted titanium model alive. Because really, what I paid for At the end of the day, it was just the scales. That's all it is. And for these scales being, you know, produced in the US years ago and being sold at that price was a steal, in my opinion. It really is. So these things are they're just gorgeous. They really are. They share similar pocket clip, but a little bit different. The spacing and placement of the holes, it's a little bit different. Still get the same little Spyder stamp on, you know, on the clip up here. You can carry it in all 4 ways, left, right, up or down. And this has gotten to the point where I'm able to confidently flick it just like the lightweight, and it doesn't feel that much different. Of course, overall weight, this thing weighs like 3 times as much as the lightweight one, of course, because it's, you know, full freaking slabs of titanium. There is no milling, and, you know, it has the steel, you know, back spacer and the actual back lock portion of it all. But let's get into a couple little size comparisons here. So we have a couple other Spydercos. We have the PM2, the Para 3. This is just so you guys can visualize and see that this is exactly the same size as the regular, you know, Native 5. Demco 8020.5, if I didn't mention that. Civivi Elementum, also a full, you know, titanium knife, even the pocket clip. Benchmade bug out. So even the Benchmade bug out is, you know, I would consider significantly longer than this guy. And the Osborne 940. So there's that. And then this guy, we'll just have it like right there. So dimensionally speaking, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same knife as the lightweight. I don't have a full G10 of this because in my time with, you know, purchasing and collecting and learning about these knives, I have decided for me that I didn't really care to have a full G10 one, because when I purchased this one, I thought this was really where the value was. It's lightweight. It came in a color that I genuinely love. I love, you know, this teal, such a bright color, such a happy color. And while I have handled a full G10 one from a coworker long ago, it wasn't anything impressive, and I don't really think he took care of it that well, because it was really gritty when opening it up. While I use my knives for anything and everywhere, yeah, it just sounded sandy and gritty, and this was before I was, you know, like really into it and willing to spend, you know, that kind of money on a knife. And I was that individual that was like, why the hell would you spend, you know, over, you know, $100 on a knife? And even then I thought, this was again years ago, I thought that spending $100 on a knife was unreasonable. I thought it was kind of stupid. And then I fell into this rabbit hole of just enthusiast things. And while I have experienced, I would say, a fair bit amount of knives from different companies, coming from, you know, different you know, places of manufacturing and origin, I will say that I'm happy with both of these purchases. I'm completely okay, and I myself justify spending, you know, this kind of money. Now, I do have a payment plan to pay this thing off. I have a year to pay it off, so this isn't costing me anything. It's like 40 bucks. It's like $42 a month. So out of each paycheck, you know, it's $21. It's nothing, right? Like that's an hour of working for me. That I'm like, that's whatever. It's absolutely nothing. And a lot of the knives, a lot of the nicer knives that I have, I use things like Klarna and Affirm and There's a crap ton of other credit-based payment plan things that you can go at when you go to checkout, and that's what I use this thing for. I love this, and only out of my love and obsession for this model and this knife and the way that it looks is the only reason why I personally justified purchasing it, really. So besides that, it's just great. It's super fancy. I have taken it apart. I have cleaned it. I have done my little notch thing right there just so when I sharpen it, it stays, you know, good looking. The edge is wonderful on this, you know, S35 VN. This is a factory second unit, and to this day, I still don't know what could have been wrong with it. I think that maybe in some lights you can see there's this little spot over here that kind of looks like it got like rubbed against something, like little chatter marks, like it was rubbed against something hard. But to me, this is a user knife. This isn't like a super like grail knife. This isn't something that's gonna sit in a case and never get used. Like, to me, $500 is a lot of money, right? And to a lot of people, $500 is a lot of money. But I don't shy away from using this. The second I got it, I threw it in my pocket and took it to work. And I was close to dropping it a couple times because you know, I cleaned it up and there was no oils and it was super slick. Like, you would think that it having this like starburst pattern, that it would be really grippy. It's not. It's actually really, really slick. So, you know, I had to be very conscious of making sure I didn't have this thing go flying out my hand or dropping, and, you know, just that would be a bad day. That would be a very sad day for sure. So anybody that owns this knife knows that it's a goodie. It really is. Whether they use it or not, I can't speak on their behalf, but for sure I use this thing. I love it. I plan to keep the life of these scales going as long as possible. I've even been considering buying the Blade HQ exclusive with the coated M4. I thought it would be a kind of cool look with the blacked out blade and blacked out hardware, but I don't think that the hardware on that is actually gonna fit because the pivot screw is a T10 on this. This is a T8. So I won't actually be able to exchange the pivot screws. So I was just like, you know what? If I can't have all the hardware looking the same, it's not really worth the build, because that means that I would have to make a separate purchase of, you know, some other pivot screws that are anodized black, and then why not just get the whole set that's anodized black or coated? And it wouldn't be a simple build. There would be a lot more that goes into it. It's something that I will probably do further down the line, and I'm sure I'll take you guys on this journey. But overall, I'm very happy with my purchase. This thing is just, it's beautiful. I love using it. I love showing it off for sure, because this is about one of the most impressive things that I, you know, can call mine. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all, and have a wonderful day.